What's up, you guys? It's Layla Lynn. I'm back with another video. Some of you may know I have two channels at this point. I have a crime channel, Crime in Context with Layla Lynn, and then I have this channel. But I want to talk about the situation with David, D4VD, on this channel. There is a longer explanation of what I am going to share with you here. There's a longer analysis explanation on my other channel, Crime in Context with Layla Lynn. But I wanted to share this with you here. And this is important. This is very important. So you guys know that David has been named as a suspect in the unaliving, which we have to use these YouTube words, unaliving of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. May she rest in peace, and may she know that justice is coming. Her predator has been named as a suspect. And I just want to talk about how much he put this in our face, to where he literally put a depiction of her severed body on his album cover. When they talk about hiding in plain sight, I did videos about Aaliyah and R. Kelly and how that was hiding in plain sight. When you talk about hiding in plain sight, let's talk about this album cover. We actually have a lot to talk about today, but let's start with this. And this is twofold here. Like I said, I break it down. I'll put a link to my full analysis on my other channel, Crime in Context with Layla Lynn. But I just want to give you an overview here. And there are two things I want to go over here. This image from his Withered Deluxe album, Marcescence. I believe if you look in the background of the image, that third person with the ponytails in the air, I believe that to be a depiction of Celeste. And with that depiction, when you zoom in, her arm is severed. And let me see if I can show you guys. None of this is an accident. So you see this right here? This image, it's a real image of a beach, and then there are like cutouts on top. We'll get into these three individuals, but this last one right here, I believe to be Celeste, this last one with the pigtails. And it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that her arm looks to be severed, that she looks to be wearing a jersey with the number 10 on it, and she was born in 2010, and that she looks to be given the peace sign, as in rest in peace. It's no coincidence when you come to a person like D4VD. Now, in my opinion, you know, I've been covering this story as if it's a red rum case. And y'all know what I mean by red rum. I've been covering it as a red rum case, and it is, in my opinion, it's a red rum case. But I also feel like this is a self-unaliving mission. I feel like we are watching a self-unaliving mission. And at the end of this, D4VD also ends up unalived, self-unalived. So I want to talk about that in this video. And then I also want to talk about the name of his album, Withered Deluxe Marcescence, and the meaning of Marcescence. So actually, let's start here, and then we'll get into the album imagery. And so Marcescence, I had to look this up. I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly, but Marcescence is the biological trait where some deciduous trees and shrubs retain their dead brown leaves through winter, failing to form a complete abscission or shedding until spring. So this is sick, because when they talk about when D4VD took this suspicious trip to Santa Barbara, where they think there was something done to Celeste, her remains, it's the spring. The Los Angeles Police Department confirmed a few Tuesdays ago that they're investigating a trip singer D4VD took to the Santa Barbara area sometime during the spring of 2025, following the disappearance of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And here you see, he literally named his Withered album, which withering, I've talked about before, I believe is the decomposition of her. And then Marcescence is a biological trait where some deciduous trees retain their dead. So he's putting everything in front of us. And I think it's horrid. It's horrid, despicable. And again, I think it's an Mission. This is his album cover. Like, this is the full album cover for the one named Marcescence, which again is very disturbing. But let's take a look at a closer image. Okay, so you have the three people here. And what stands out to me is a couple things that stand out to me. Again, the other person would be D4VD. He portrayed himself with his hands in his pockets. Again, that's like portrays guilt. When you see somebody with their shoulders slumped, hands in their pockets, artistically that portrays guilt. Generally, when somebody's innocent, they show their hands. Like, as humans, we just have a habit of being like, I'm innocent, I didn't do anything, showing our hands. But the hands in the pocket show guilt. So not pictured, but pictured on the actual album is a depiction of D4VD looking guilty. And then these three people. And what stands out to me, number one, is the height of this person, this tall person, the fact that they are off the ground. I feel like that represents something. This middle person, I feel like it may represent D4VD, because, you know, he does represent himself with two personalities. One was Itami, which meant pain, and then the real him. And I feel like this may be a secondary representation of him. But both the male characters' faces are covered. The female character is the only one whose face is showing. And she's actually showing, she's very vulnerable. If you do an artistic interpretation of this image, this female character is very vulnerable because you can see the most skin. You see her face, full face. You see her legs. You see her arm. The other two have on long sleeves. You don't see their arms. So, like, artistically, it would be like she's the most vulnerable. And then when you do a close-up, which this is why I enjoy AI, because I was able to make a 4K close-up of this. And that's when I noticed this cutout. And it has been, I want to say confirmed, but everything is alleged. But I was watching a video by Sloan, not Sloan Bella, but just Sloan. And sources reached out to him that had seen her remains, and they confirmed that they were severed, that they were in 3 bags, which you can see in the image from the tow yard. You can see 3 bags, but they confirmed her remains were separate. In 3 bags, they were severed. And so in this image, I don't think it's a coincidence that her arm is severed. I don't think anything is coincidence when it comes to the art. And again, I explained this in my full analysis on my other channel, but I don't really feel like it's art. If your music, if your art is all about unaliving someone, that's not art. But in any case, nothing is by a coincidence when it comes to this person, David. And so the fact that her arm looks to be severed, it's not a coincidence. It's not. And I've seen her with this hairstyle, these 2 high ponytails. I've seen her, a video of her with this hairstyle, and she would wear pigtails because she was a kid. She was 14. She would wear pigtails. And also, I'm disturbed by 2 things here. He shows this girl throwing up the peace sign, which to me looks like peace out, as in rest in peace. And it's in our face. He put it on his album cover. Also, when you look at closely, again, everything matters. When you're analyzing this, everything matters. And the fact that this first finger is dark, where that's allegedly where she had a tattoo, that matters. So I feel like this is a depiction of Celeste, you know, 2010 date of birth. And he put it on his album cover. His whole album, the Wither album, was about her remains. I wanted to share this with you guys because I don't see this conversation on social media about this particular album cover. It may be on social media, but I haven't seen it. If you want to see the full analysis, again, I put it on my backup channel. The reason I have 2 channels now is because this channel, I actually want to start maybe by next year, but I want this channel to strictly be like lighthearted, like Real Housewives of Atlanta, Potomac, stuff like that. And then my second channel, I want to put my crime analysis, which I sometimes do. I want to put that on my second channel and keep it separate. Make sure you subscribe to that channel so we can have those discussions there.